Welcome to Stories, Egg Harbor Stories, or Door County Triathlon Stories, or, I don't know, just us rambling with Billy and Sam. So we're going to go over the Door County Half Iron race, which we just finished. So, nice, fresh, exciting story. So to stay tuned. I think we have to start with accommodations. You got to start.
Yeah, so let's start with it. We flew into Green Bay, and so Green Bay is an hour and 15 minutes or so away from the race venue.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe an hour and a half if you have bad traffic or something. It's Door County is a rural area on Lake Michigan. Has what they call Green Bay, which I guess is true. I mean, I guess it's Green Bay on one side and Lake Michigan on the other. I mean, Green Bay is part of Lake Michigan, but anyway, it's kind of a peninsula that has that. The so I was in charge of accommodations again. I don't know how I keep getting put in charge of accommodations. I think Sam really likes playing like roulette or something, and he just keeps spinning the wheel just to see what'll happen. So what happens? I still don't even have accommodations for next week. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Sometimes you get the Motel 6 in Rochester where you can see through the towels, and sometimes you get Tom's house.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So Tom's house was in Maryland when we did Eagleman, the Eagleman 70.3. So this time, Charlotte says, "Hey, should I put something on Facebook?" I mean, that's how we got Tom's house, was Facebook. So she was like, "You think anybody will even respond?" And I was like, "I put it out there. What could it hurt?" Plenty of hotels in Green Bay. I mean, there was no. I mean, and we've stayed that far away before. I mean, we stayed 45 minutes or 50 minutes away from Rochester when we were there. I mean, so driving isn't that big of a deal. We knew we had Green Bay as a backup. Charlotte puts out there on Facebook, "Hey, has anybody got any? If you're canceling a hotel room or whatever in Door County." What do you got? And super nice lady responds back, "Hey, my family has a guest suite, and we'd love for y'all to come." We were like, "We'd love to be there."
Yes.
So thank you, Cara, Doug, and Becky, for hosting us. That was super wonderful. It was on the water, and the guy that owned the house before Cara and Doug was the dude that did the Marlboro Man.
Yeah, it was painted the Marlboro Man.
Yeah, he was the graphic designer or whatever for, I guess, Philip Morris, who is Marlboro cigarettes.
Yeah.
And so what we stayed in was actually his studio. They've converted it into like a guest suite. And I don't know how we could have gotten any better. It was on the race course, 2 miles from the start, and I just don't know how we get any luckier than that.
No. Thank you guys very much. You're amazing. I compared it to punching above our weight, but that's not even true. I felt like a movie star, so it was incredible. Also, we're going to Delaware, Ohio next. So if you guys have accommodations in Delaware, Ohio that you can't see through the towel, or can, doesn't really matter. So maybe our next one, we maybe see through the towel. So that was amazing. All they had promised was a shelter, and we go out there, and there's this beautiful view of the lake. It was spectacular, and the home was absolutely gorgeous. So it was super cool.
Much rather be lucky than good, and the triathlon community is pretty small, and good for them. Thank you so much, Cara and Doug and Becky.
Thank y'all very much. That was cool.
Appreciate you sharing your house with us. All right, so stories. Do you want to talk about stories for the race, or what do you want to talk about?
I mean, I guess you could go with stories from the weekend, but why don't we start with race stories?
Okay. So what's your favorite race story?
I don't know about favorite.
Okay.
I have a story on the bike. Are we going in order, or
I don't care. You
just throw stuff out?
Whatever you want.
Why don't we try this out? So, Panama City.
Yeah.
You claim to be allegedly attacked by a Jeep.
Yes. Somebody allegedly attacked you too.
Okay, so you have that the one very steep hill.
Yep.
And they had the tent at the top. And so, it's an open course, and so I'm coming up, and there's a car and a truck with a tow behind RV in it. And so, I'm pushing it a little bit, and I'm out of the saddle, and I'm going.
Is this that rough road?
No, smooth road, steep hill, the very steep hill.
Okay.
And so, suddenly the truck decides that it's actually had, both of them were in the opposite lane. I just assumed they were giving us plenty of room. He was in that lane because he wanted to go over here. While I'm going up here, I didn't hit the RV, but it was close. So I'm slamming on my brakes going uphill. To you, sir, I give 2 thumbs down. May all of the bad things happen to you and you alone.
Did you at least tap the RV or something and let him know that he got?
I was so angry. I could have punched the RV, and I was close enough to, and I just didn't want to hurt my hand. So I had enough control over my emotions. So if somebody comes up behind me and goes, "Dude, that was a jerk," it couldn't have waited, just a few minutes. There's not that many cars on the road, so just wait for a good gap. But yeah, you're a large truck towing a large RV, and then it had some undulation in it, so we had to slow down. Yes, sir. I hope that bad things happen to you. Don't be a jerk. So that was.
Did you at least yell at him or anything?
Oh yes, there was screaming.
Okay.
There were children, so I started screaming obscenities, and then So he got the thumbs down.
Okay.
So yeah, there was yelling. So that was obviously the worst thing that happened. The most frustrating thing. So open road, but what else? So I'm on the way. Apparently, before every race, I like to have some sort of problem. What race was that? Blue Ridge, where my flip-flop decided to just give out.
As we're getting on the shuttle.
Yeah, it just quit. So the glue just came off, and I had that in high school, so it was more than 20 years old. But something likes to go wrong. And this time, I pre-wrap. I go ahead and mix my Tailwind and Gatorade and salt in individual baggies, keep them in my suitcase. So I unzip my suitcase, and there's this Gatorade, potpourri, if you will. And I'm taking stuff out, and apparently something had decided to bust my baggie. And so one of my bags had just exploded. So yeah, that happened. So the lesson here is always pack extra, which we of course learned from France. So I had my one extra. It wasn't that big a deal, other than all of my clothes are then covered in sugar. So at some point I'm just gonna have ants all over.
I was gonna ask you ever got ants in there while we were here.
No, so I took it and shook everything out as far away from the house as I could.
Sorry, car and duck. You might have an ant problem now.
Hopefully not.
If you're wondering what that white powder is in your yard, it's not cocaine. It's Gatorade and
so yeah, it was well away from the house. So there may be some ants in there. Bees, whatever. Once the sugar's gone, they'll go back away. Yes, there was none in the house. Kept it out of the beautiful studio. So that was my lesson this time. I switched up my containers that I keep it in. Don't try new things on race day. There's your lesson of the day. But if you plan for things to go wrong, then you have a backup plan. So always have backup plans for things like that, especially if it's a critical path item. You have to have nutrition, especially on hot days. So that all worked out fine. What kind of other stories we got?
I mean, I can give you some stories.
Okay.
But I want you to have enough time for your stories.
Okay.
You won't be thinking of stories while I'm telling
I
my
was
story.
going to let you go and see if I had anything to add.
So just going through the race, I'm just going to kind of go through this in my head. I mean, the swim for me was awesome. I started in the very back. I mean, very back. I think there were like 4 people behind me at the most. So that was pretty sweet for me. I think I actually probably had a decent time in the swim. But no real stories other than when I got out. There were wetsuit peelers, which we haven't had in forever, and I forgot to cut off my watch because I'm so surprised they're ripping stuff off of me. And the lady's like, "Do you want any more?" I was like, "I'm good, I think." So anyway, the volunteers were fun.
What else was she offering to pull out?
I don't know, man. I don't know what
race is this, sir.
She was having fun. I mean, I was like the last one coming in, so I almost swam. So interestingly, on Lake Michigan, they have temporary docks. Okay, so when we were looking, and the house we're in is pretty nice, and the dock they have was not the type of dock that you would expect to have for a nice house. And anyway, long story short, Lake Michigan freezes, and so they got to pull up the dock. They put the dock down for the summer, and they pull up the dock and take it up. So it was the same way for the park. So there was a dock that went out to the park, and I'm swimming along, and I'm actually swimming pretty well, but when I'm coming in, I get really close to the dock, and there was somebody up on top of the dock saying something. I don't know what they were saying, but anyway, I realized that they were saying that I needed to swim over to the side a little bit.
It was cutting corners.
I wasn't cutting any corners because I actually had to swim extra.
Coming back, not going out, but
no,
okay.
coming back.
I thought you were talking about the pier on the way out.
No, that was kind of strange how they had the big orange buoy, but you didn't swim around it. You swam to it and kind of took it right. But anyway, on the pier. I mean, I'm not a straight swimmer. All those buoys, the 40 buoys that they had out there, there was no way that you could not see where you were going. So we get to the bike, and the bike. So I like to go fast, and if I'm going downhill, I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can, and I try to take calculated risks of looking at a curve and seeing if it's banked or what's going on with it, and can I go faster than the guy that's in front of me, because they're usually slowing down. I can pass a lot of people in curves. So I'm going down a hill, and they're like slow. So of course I slow down, and then it's a high banked turn that goes to the left, and then it kind of flattens out, and I'm like, what in the world were they telling you to go slow for? I could go so fast on this hill. So now I'm kind of mad. And so I get to the next one, and it says slow, and I'm like, there's no reason for me to go slow. I'm just going to, and so I go down this hill, and I'm in aero bars, and I'm about to pass somebody in the curve, and I misjudged that this corner was not banked. And I'm in aero bars, and you can't just get out of aero bars when you're in a curve. And so if you've ever seen the motorcycles when they're doing motorcycle races, how low they get to the ground when they're doing a turn, I felt the pavement on the hairs of my legs as I was leaned over. I used parts of my bike tires that I've never used before, and I survived. I mean,
that's a win, really.
So the problem was that there was a person that I was passing on the inside of the corner. I mean, there weren't any cars or anything coming. I think that part was closed. I don't know that I'd ever seen any cars on that. Well, whatever.
Yeah, we got lucky.
But on the outside of the corner, there was a bunch of little pebbles. And so I couldn't get over there because I knew if you get over there, your bike tire hits a pebble, and that's the end of it. So I had to kind of get in, as tight as I could, and I finished that, and I was like, that was a mistake. Okay. But I survived, and so that was good. The next time I came, because you did the hill twice, the next time I came down, I got out of the aero, and I was in my regular handlebars, and I actually kind of took it pretty fast, but there wasn't anybody in the right, and I wasn't passing anybody, so it was much better the second time. That was my bike story. There wasn't anything really else on the bike that was interesting, I suppose. The run, so I finished. Well, so I tell you this bike story. At the end, so you go up and you do a turnaround, like a U-turn, and then you come back down, there's an aid station, and you go. And I don't know how long that section is, maybe 1.5 miles or so. So maybe 3/4 of a mile to turn around and 3/4 of a mile back. It's not that long. So the first time I go around, I didn't see Sam, which I didn't expect to see him, and I was like, oh, okay, well, Sam's not, good. He's pretty far ahead of me. I mean, he started 6 minutes ahead of me, and he's usually faster than swim, so I would expect him to be 10 minutes ahead of me, get onto the bike, and we have usually a similar bike time. So, I might make up a few minutes on the bike, but I wouldn't usually make up 10. But the second time I came around, I'm going up, and I don't see him in the first little section, and then I see him come by, and he's fiddling with a water bottle or something, and I'm like, oh, well, he didn't see me. I didn't yell to him or anything. I'm like, huh.
Never even saw you, yeah.
I wonder if I can catch him. And so I count people so remember, I started at the back, and my swim group was the last, and I started at the back of my swim group, so everybody got passed I was ahead of. So that, that's kind of motivation for me to, each time you pass somebody, that's one more spot that you're guaranteed to have in the race. So I counted, and I was like, when I first started counting, I was like, I want to pass 100 people on the bike.
It's aggressive.
But I started at the back. And
yeah, but that's like 20% of the field. There's
20% of the people weigh like twice as much as I do. I mean, this was not Europe. Man.
That's true.
So anyway, the first loop, I passed 21 people. 21. I mean, and I kind of knew that was about what it was going to be. I mean, you start in the back, and anyway. The second loop, I got to pass, I got up to 92, so I guess I passed 71 people on the second lap. But I was calculating in my head, and I was like 100 people. I think if I pass 100 people, Sam's going to be number 100. I didn't count the number of people. I was just kind of in my head at the number of people that were, because you saw them all in the U-turn. Anyway, I never passed him. I guess he got a second wind, or I don't know what happened, but I saw him in transition, but I was never able to pass him.
Yeah, you caught me in transition.
I didn't really catch you because you exited transition before I did.
So we were in transition at the same time. I was finishing up and you were starting out, but I started pretty heavy on the bike, and had a conversation with the coach before I left that I wouldn't push it too hard. So I took that second loop a lot easier, and saved it for the run.
I guess for me, I thought, so I had a really good swim for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't a really good swim, but it was pretty good. So I'm kind of thinking in my head, it's possible this could be a PR. And the first, I averaged, I don't know, close to 20 for the first hour or so. And then you get into some hills, and it was, 19 and a half, 19 and 3/4 or something off of the first loop. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do the bike in less than 3 hours, if I can do it less than 250, then now maybe we are talking a PR. And I don't remember what my bike time was, but it was probably 252 or 254. It wasn't under 250, but it wasn't. It was a pretty decent bike time. And so that kind of makes me go a little bit faster on the bike. And I started out the run, and I was like, it could be a PR. The first 4 miles is flat. Relatively flat. Kind of up and down, but I did that in a really good time, and I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm feeling it, man. This could be a PR. And then the hill started, and I was like, this is not going to be a PR. And it was not a PR. I don't remember what my time was, 5:52 or something, but whatever it wasn't even close to a PR. And I was pretty drained at the ends too. My legs are still killing me. So anyway, those were my race stories.
So I thought of some stories while you were talking.
All right.
I was totally paying attention.
Yeah. Did you even hear anything I said?
I heard something, Sam, something, Sam, something, Sam.
They were all good things about Sam. All of them were good things. I was pumping you up, man.
Yeah. Apparently sneaky Gonzalez over here. Very sneaky. So, I was, of course, talking to people on the bike. And so they were very rules oriented here, or the people were. So I'm riding with this guy, and I'm just trying to talk to him, And so, I just keep noticing myself going slower and slower. So he's slowing down to try to follow the rules, right? You pass, and once you get past, you're supposed to
I
fall
think
back.
he just didn't want to talk to you, man. He
Also
was
may have been the truth.
Go.
So we slow down to like 12. And it finally occurs to me, like, oh, we're supposed to be following the rules. So
I don't think it had anything to do with the rules, man. I think he was trying to get away from you. He was like, if I slow down enough, maybe this guy will
just go on. So it was funny. We traded spots with that guy a few times. But yeah, it was not the normal talk on the bike like happens. I guess Ironman is a closed course, or generally a closed course, and this is open. So the doubles not quite as not as double friendly on this one. But yeah, not nearly as many bike conversations, but made it up for it on the run and learned
Did you get to meet some new friends?
Back half of the field.
Yeah.
So, here at a local race, at an Ironman race, hey, where are you from? And it can be anywhere in the country and sometimes the world. At a local race, they were describing where in Wisconsin they were from. 25 minutes out of da-da-da.
I don't know where that is.
Your referenced city, I don't know. So no offense, I'm just not up to date on my Wisconsin geography. Next time I will learn the state before we show up and I start asking where you're from. So there was a lot of Cleveland. Oh, okay, Cleveland, got it. It's like Atlanta. You've got suburbs and suburbs on suburbs, and so once I had a big city, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, very friendly people here. In some of it, like Austria, where good job, I don't think means anything in German. But some races they're very serious and they're race focused. Here, good job. Yeah, you too, buddy. So super friendly. I had a great time with that. But yes, everybody was very friendly, very nice.
Did you make any friends on the run?
Absolutely.
Anybody in particular?
Hello to everybody. I am struggling with names, so
I'm not talking about name. Who's the most interesting person you met? What's the most interesting story you have?
We had one lady. This was her first time. So ran with her for a little while, and she said that I was crazy for doing, all the Ironman or all of these races. And then she was going out. So this was her first half iron, and she was going. She had a ride next weekend where she was doing a 4,000-foot climb. So I don't crazy.
It's all relative.
We're all a little nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're lots of fun people. So if you're not going to win, say hi, talk to people. It's a great way to take your mind off of whatever's hurting. I had a blast. So it's a fun race.
You just want people to say hi to you and to talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing this strictly for selfish reasons. So we'll talk about whatever they want to talk about. But if
But
we're
you're
talking,
gonna talk.
Yeah. If we're talking, I'm not thinking about everything that hurts or whatever's bleeding this time or whatever. So we're good.
I think that's it on the stories. We had a great. It really was a great time. I mean the accommodations. Somebody. I'm not gonna say who. Somebody scheduled us for like a 5:30 a.m. Monday morning flight. I mean, and when I say 5:30, man, I think that's when the plane leaves.
Yes, the plane will be not touching the ground at 5:30.
Yeah. So. We came back to Green Bay and we're staying in a hotel near the airport because, good Lord, if you stayed in Egg Harbor, which Karen Doug would have loved for us to stay, but we needed to come back. We would have had to leave at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, don't go to bed. Yeah. It's fine.
So anyway, we're staying at a hotel near the airport, so hopefully we'll get a few hours of sleep.
Yeah, hour will be fine. So. Hey, you voted with your wallet, to be fair. So if you leave...
Hey, this is a nice hotel. What are you talking about?
This is a great hotel.
This is not the Motel 6.
The money that we saved on the airfare by not flying at a reasonable hour, we spent at this hotel so we could get an hour worth of sleep. So we're good.
Okay. I'm glad it worked out for everybody.
Thanks very much. I'm very appreciative of the hotel. So if you want to take over which flights to do, I mean, we'll just shift that responsibility.
Is that the deal? Is that why I'm doing the accommodations? Is because you're doing the flights?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Sure.
Okay. All right.
All right. Stay tuned for next time. Next week is Ohio, Delaware, Ohio.
Yep.
With a race director we just had at Eagle Man, so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Eagle Man or Rock? It wasn't the Rochester one.
Yes.
Muscle Man.
Muscle Man.
Muscle Man.
I'm sorry.
All right. See ya.
Bye.